Om. 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 Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम्। ॐ श्री चिन्मय सद्गुरवे नमः। 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 ॐ पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वामनुसन्तदामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणीम्। यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्ररुद्रमरुतः स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः। ध्यानावस्थिततद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनो यस्यान्तं न विदुःसुरासुरगणा देवाय तस्मै नमः। देवाय तस्मै नमः। स्वे स्वे कर्मण्यभिरतः संसिद्धिं लभते नरः स्वकर्मनिरतः सिद्धिं यथा विन्दति तच्छृणु. In the last session we saw, based upon the born nature of a person, the actions, the field of action has been prescribed, and in the case of a person who is having predominantly sattvic qualities, shamodamas tapas shaucham shantihi arjavameva cha jnanam vijnanam astikyam ब्रह्म कर्म स्वभावजम स्वभावेन जातम। जो स्वभाव है उसको प्रयत्न नहीं करना चाहिए, करने का आवश्यक भी नहीं। What is naturally to you, you don't need to really struggle for it. If a person is sattvic, having purity of motive, thoughts, emotions, feelings, attitude, for such a person to master the mind and the senses is natural. One does not strive hard for it. Therefore, shamaha, damaha, tapaha, shaucham, arjavam, all these things, straightforwardness, quietness of the mind, quietness of the senses, austerities, all these are all shanti, forgiveness, patience, and also jnanam and vijnanam, pursuit of knowledge and experiencing that knowledge as one's own. That is swabhavajam. And as an effect, as a result of that, such a person is capable of guiding others towards the spiritual or worldly goals also. Here, he is also a leader in a sense, leading the mind. Whereas in the case of a kshatriya, whose natural swabhava is what? Shauryam, tejaha, dhritihi, dakshyam, yuddhecha apalayanam. And also Ishwara bhava, the ability to control situation, dhanam, to share one's wealth or help people, in other words, in whichever way possible. These are all kshatram karma swabhava. It is all natural for a person who has rajasic nature, no doubt, but with sattvic attitude. Rajas in the sense that active, externally active. Unlike a Brahmana who would probably more into study and meditation and quietude and doing austerities, for a Kshatriya, the austerity is doing good to the people. Making sure that people are protected, they are given what they want, increase their standard, helping people to become better in the society, in their life, giving opportunity for them to excel. These are all not just protection of the country or being a soldier, by a ruler, being a ruler, being a one who knows what is governance, how to make people come out and then show their efficiency. So that is the nature of a Kshatriya. And a person who has, no doubt, Rajas is there, but on the background is wealth, enjoyment, pleasure, that has the background. And such a person is known as Vaishya. And what is their nature? Krishi, Gaurakshya, Vanijyam, bringing the economy of the country to the higher standard. Make things available for people to experience, enjoy. Making sure that the financial strength of the country or the society is built up. Making it strong economically. Making products which are possible from one's own land and making it available to everybody. So these are the attitude of a person who is a person who has Vaishnava. Vaishya karma is Swabhavajam for it. And the category of Sudras are those Paricharyatmakam karma. Making sure that the rest of them are able to do their best by helping them to do their best. In essence, all of them are equally responsible for any development of any organization, community, country, nation, whatever it be. As much as our physical body also has got various parts which are all essential for us to perform efficiently. If stomach is not doing well, obviously you will not be feeling like getting up on Sunday morning. Is it not? Or mentally disturbed because, power is not there and you want to see Super Bowl. So you will get very disturbed. Where am I going to go? Which friend's house I am going to go? And all that. So the mind or the physical body or any other part of your personality is not cooperating, then there will be lack of efficiency, interest, laziness, inability to perform. So the society also suffers the same thing. If one section of the people are not doing their work, let us say you have planned to go from here to, let us say, Germany, and then the Lufthansa says labor strike. What will you do? You cannot go. So they labor all right, but if they don't work, then the pilots are ready, other crews are ready, flight, everything. But ground people who are to take care of the flight, at least to make them able to fly and put the fuel, they are not there. Then how will you do the work? Everything will come to a standstill. Lorry, what you call, truck strike, then no food will be available to you. See, everyone is together only making everything possible. Therefore, Krishna says, Swe karmani abhirataha. No one needs to imitate anybody else. Krishna here says, you don't need to imitate somebody else's job to reach the highest. Swa means swe, in one's own karmani. Karmani means swabhavajam karma. Swabhaje karmani. Swabhaja karmani. Swabhavaja karmani. In those actions which are natural to you. Abhirataha. Excelling in that, doing your best, samsiddhim labate. They achieve success. And this success is not worldly success. The highest success is readiness to be there. Krishna never loses that point. He always brings that again and again. No doubt, success in the world is also possible if you are able to do what you are good at. But at the same time, your mind would get ready for your highest goal, which should not be ignored, to be kept in mind. So samsiddhi means atmanishta yogyata, ability to abide in the highest self, by which alone one can be truly free. Is it not true at the end of the day? What do you say at the end of the whole day, Saturday or Sunday or during the week? End of the day, what do you say? I have done what I need to do for the day. Is it not true? Otherwise, you cannot go to bed. Chalo. Now, anything I need to do tomorrow. Aaj to mera ho gaya. I am finished. I am done. When do you say that? Unless you have vairagya. Vairagya at least temporarily. आज के लिए कुछ करना है तो अभी कर दिया. So today what I need to do I have done. Meaning what? I have no more interest to do anything else because I want to take rest. In the same way, when do you rest? When do you actually rest? Rest means what? Here, when do you actually get into the highest state of your own being? When? Only when you know you don't need to do anymore. And that happens only when, where you are engaging in that work, in the field of work, your mind is totally involved. If half of the mind is still disturbed, I should have done that, I should have done this. He's going to talk about it a little later about that. Do your work in which field you are naturally able to excel. In that field, when you engage, your mind is not dichotomized, split. You're able to do your best and also take rest out of it. I said, I'm done. I completed it. Don't you tell your own children, finish today, tomorrow you have to go to school, then you finish your homework today. Don't keep it for tomorrow. Why? Because then tomorrow, you are morning when you get up, you are not in disturbance. You can put your books in the bag and get going. If you have not done, then you have to next day morning, you have to get up and then feverishly you have to finish, because today I have to submit. I didn't do anything on Friday or a Saturday or the Sunday, and then Monday only morning only you start. So, sve karmani abhiratah samsiddhim atmanishta yogyatam labate naraha. So, therefore, swakarma niratah, engaging in one's own actions. And again, do not imitate what others do, because that person's gunas are not your gunas. That person's swabhava is not your swabhava. He may be your neighbor, but that doesn't mean you can imitate that person, because essentially your personality complex, I mean the complexity of your personality, the combination of gunas are different. Even in one's own household, two children may have different combination of gunas. As I said in the previous session, that in the past, in the ancient times, the nature of a person or swabhava of a person pretty much determined by the community or the society or a family in which he or she is born. And today's world, that being not there, very much we have to see what is our natural tendency, because the external world is more or less the same. If you take the quality of the people and the kind of work that they do, not necessarily what they are supposed to do. As I said, that person may be having Brahmana as his birth, but he may be joining army, or maybe doing some business. So we actually, in today's world, the family does not decide the nature of work. It is a quality, more about these gunas that are deciding it. What is naturally there in the mind's person. So in the same household also, two people can be totally different personality. But where one is at ease, and most important aspect of that to discover is where I can work without expecting even the result. And I am enjoying my work itself. Work itself means my joy. Work itself is my result. If that kind of a field one can find, that is actually swakarma or swadharma. So swakarma niratah siddhim yatha vindati tachruno. Now, having said this, how such a person who is engaging in his or her own field of activity, enjoying what he or she does, how he or she can proceed further, how that person can move ahead to the higher level of experience. That you listen to me right now. Karma, it's not an end by itself. Karma is only a means. So here, Bhagavan Krishna has to emphasize that no doubt you have to do your work according to your gunas, dictated by your qualities of thinking or your vasanas. But that is not the end. Where do your vasanas disappear? In the vasana chayo vai moksha. Only when the vasanas, latent tendencies become weak, you will be free. If your tendencies are strong, you'll go back to the same world again and again and again and again and again. When do you actually give up masala dosa? Just for example. Until you find a cockroach inside the masala. Dosha drishti. Not dosa drishti. Dosha drishti. When your doctor says no more potatoes for you, because that is dangerous to your whatever, maybe reason you will give, then you will say no more masala. Only dosha. Because I saw dosha in the potato. See, unless you find that particular engagement no more useful to your growth, you will not give up. Habits are also like that only. Unless I discover that that is not helping me, that needs self-observation. So here Bhagavan Krishna says, see, one through by the knowledge that, see, dosha drishti or looking at the defect of a situation or a particular experience comes out of knowledge. Somebody informs you, but or yes, you self-observe it. Bhagavan Krishna says, Jnana margena abhi siddhim gacchati, siddhim labate. But here he says, but by devoting, by bhakti also you can. So that is said in the next verse number 46. Yata pravrittir bhutanam yena sarvamidam tadam swakarmana tam abhyarchya siddhim bindati manavah yata pravrittir bhutanam yena sarvamidam tadam swakarmana tam abhyarchya siddhim bindati manavah. Manavah manushyaha siddhim vindati. See, manavah plural, not plural, it is singular only. Manushyaha siddhim vindati. A person can obtain fulfillment. Siddhi, success also. Because if fulfillment is not there, what is the point of success? Success is only when you feel fulfilled. Yes, I'm done. So how kasmat siddhim vindati? How does a person reach this state of success? Tat shrunu he said before. What he says is, tam apyarchya swakarmana. By your own action, tam Ishwaram, Bhagavantam, the Lord, apyarchya, having worshipped. So work should lead you to the devotion to God. The work should translate itself to become worship. So worship is not what you do merely going to a temple and chanting the name of the Lord and showing arati. This is to prepare the mind in such a way that anything that I do should be like this. As much as you go to a temple with a feeling of reverence and love for the Lord, and then offer anything that you have got in the form of flower or the prasad, and then show the arati and say that, Tera tujhko, everything is yours only, and all those things we say. But should we not continue the same attitude in whatever we do? Anything that I have is yours. Nothing is actually mine. I am only using what you have got and I am giving back to you. Through my work, I am only giving back to you what is already yours. Now tell me, what is that which ours, which we can claim as mine in this world? This body itself is not yours. It is given to you by your parents. And again, you're leaving it also. You're not going to take it anyway because it's not yours. Anything that you see around us, it's already there. You only engage in modifying from one condition to another for your comfort. Then after that, you leave it also. Really speaking, nothing can be claimed as mine except your mind. That nobody wants it and nobody can take it also. So, swakarmana, by your action, tam means atma, Ishwaram, Bhagavantam, Devam, apyarchya, having worshipped. In that way alone, siddhim bindati mana. Why should I worship God? Because from whom alone everything has come. Yata pravrittir bhutana. Yataha. Yataha means yasmat. From whom alone? Bhutanam pravrittihi. All beings have come from that one source only. See, simple idea is, logically speaking, everything must have a cause. Without the cause, the effect cannot be there. If each one of the objects that we see has a cause, what is the cause of this world? That also is an effect only. Applying the same logic, if objects have, every object has got a cause from which everything has come. If the table you take, it has come from wood. If you are seeing a plastic, this is a resin or plastic, then it has come from the plastic. If you have a pot, that has come from the mud. You always keep a pot next to me. If it is a pot, it has come from the mud. Is it not? This has come from cotton. I'm not a magician, but this comes out. So everything must have come from something. Karanam vina karyam na siddhyate. Karan must be there. If everything has got, what is the ultimate cause then from which everything has come? Yataha, from which pravrittihi bhutana. Bhutanam utpattihi. So from which everything has come. Not only that, it is interesting that in Hinduism this is emphasized. God is not created this world and disappeared. No. Yena sarvamidam tadam. And that very cause itself is present in every effect all the time. If you say the table is there and may come out of wood and wood disappeared, is it? Take a wood from this table and show me where is the table. So effect is, Gurudev would say, cause in a different form. Similarly, this Jagat is Bhagavan in a different form. That's all. Varieties of form. Sahasra Shirusha Purushaha Sahasraksha Sahasrapa. When we chant that Purusha Suktam, what we mean is that Bhagavan not only created, but he became the creation. Became means he appearing as this whole creation. Just like the wood is appearing as a table, it has not lost at all being woodness. Has it lost it? The table, even though we call it as a table, but wood in the table is not lost. It is actually wood. We call it as a table. Bhagavan alone is there. We call it as Jagat. Yena idam sarvam tadam vyaptam. So by him alone, from which everything has come, from him alone, everything is pervaded. Everything is he only. Tam, that very presence, swakarmana apyajya. So this is the vision of a Mahatma who is very much working in this world like any one of us. But the way he will look at the world is no more as the varieties of the world. Even though eyes, ears, nose, tongues, etc. will report the variety, but his perception is there is only one alone appearing as me. Because Yena Paramatmana Ishwarena Sarvamidam, all this Vyaptam Sadam. Guru used to give an example. Mr. and Mrs. Ant were there living together. That's a family. Mr. and Mrs. Ant. One day, Mr. Ant went out to look for food. Obviously, the food is sugar. So he went and then he is looking for sugar. He didn't find anything. And suddenly he found in somebody's house, some birthday party got over. So some cake was left there. He went into the cake. He went to the cake. Inside the cake, he was looking for sugar. But he didn't find sugar, but the cake was equally sugar. But it did not know that it is sugar. It started to taste and it was so tasty. Not the real sugar cube. And having tasted the cake, it was just lying down, Then the Mrs. Ant was very very concerned, and she was looking for him. Finally, he came out with all the cake on his body. Came out, crawling, and came out. She couldn't recognize him. Who are you? Then she recognized the voice when he said, I am me. Oh, okay. What are you? He said, I was looking for sugar and this is what I found. Taste me. You will find that. I went inside this whole place, and when I look up, there was cake. When I look right side, cake. This side is cake. Inside cake. Above cake. Below cake. Cake, oh, cake. In the same way, one who recognizes or gained the bliss of the Lord, what will he find? ऊपर भी है, नीचे भी है. In 11th chapter of Bhagavad Gita says, Nama Purasta, Nama Prishtadas Purasta. I am saluting you to front, in the back, in the right, and the left, and the up and the below. Because everywhere he is there. I do not know where you are not. So that is the reason why when you go to a temple, you do rotate, no? The Yani Kani Japapani Janman Japani nahi. Yani Kani Cha Papani Janmantara Kritani Cha Tani Tani Vinashanti Pratakshina Pade Pade. When you go round, what do you mean? From the front, from the everywhere, it is a Lord. Where do I not salute you? So, yata pravrittihi bhutanam yena sarvamidam tadam. By whom everything is pervaded. So, unlike the Semitic religious concept of creation is independent of God, or God created and he disappeared and then he took rest. No. He himself is the creation. So, therefore, in Hinduism, where is that you worship as anything as God? Everything. Whether it's a tree or the plant or the moon or the sun or the star or the water or the fire or the air or the space. Everything is He, which is not. Sarvamidam tatam. Everything is pervaded by Him. So even in your work, whatever you do, the one who is doing is also He, that only. That is why He said another, says, Yada pravrittihi bhutana means, by whom bhutanam pravrittihi, action coming from him only, because he is the antaryamin. Antaryamina pravrittihi. From that antaryamin alone, one's own action also coming out. So bhutanam pravrittihi, engagement of the people in this world or being in the world is also from the Lord. So, how a person will obtain the highest success? Swakarmana tam Ishwaram Devam Bhagavantam apyarchya. Worshipping with this understanding, not mechanically doing your work. Because you no doubt it is swabhava for you, but even the swabhava should be translated as bhakti bhav. It should be translated into an attitude of devotion. Swakarmana tamapyarchya manavaha siddhim indra. Otherwise, one would say, I am very good at my work. I am excellent in my work. I do everything right and I am successful. That success is because of that particular action you did. But when that cause is gone, effect will also go away. You may be successful today and your boss is so happy this quarter you did well. Then what is the next question you will ask? What are you going to do for the next quarter? I'm going to have a quarter. That's not the point. What are you going to do for the next quarter? It should be better than this. And if you do less than what you did in the previous quarter, then there's a problem there. Then you cannot be concerned. Somebody else may take over, then your success is gone. So do not wait for that external success to make you better. Go to the highest one. Then nobody can fail you. Nobody can dare fail you. It is you, your own bliss. It is not owned by anybody else. It is, you can claim it as much as when you claim your sleep. You cannot ask, you take permission from people. How about you? Should I sleep? What are your opinions? Rest of the family should be asked because it's my own and I claim it even in the classroom. Here also I can claim it as my own. Similarly, here that moksha sthiti, the inner bliss is not anybody else's property. You are claiming your own. That success, nobody can take it away. So in the next page, I have given a simple analysis on that. That is, you can spiritually grow no matter who you are. Circumstances in life are created by your own karmas and gunas. Combination of gunas decide the circumstances associated with your birth, family, and dharma. What you meet in life is decided by the vasanas. But how you meet is decided by your wisdom. What you meet in life is decided by circumstances, external. But how are you going to meet that is decided by your knowledge base and your experience, which has created a right attitude for you. Wisdom is to recognize and constantly remember everything that you experience as the world comes from one conscious source. All are provided only by that one. Every animate being and inanimate things are present due to his presence. All that you do are possible due to his presence in you. All actions must be performed as duties. To direct all activities toward the same source is a true worship. By this worship through actions, you can enhance your spiritual growth and irrespective of your combination of gunas. So it is not that only Brahmana is eligible for this or a Kshatriya. No. In any field, with whatever quality that you have, the moment you turn that into worship, you surpass everything. Whether you are a Kshatriya or Brahmana, Shudra or Vaishya, doesn't matter at all. The moment work becomes worship, it doesn't matter what you're doing. Very many stories are there of people who have not necessarily born in a family which has the knowledge and wisdom, etc. They may be a very menial work they may be doing, but because they turned that into devotion, they have gained great amount of not only vision of the Lord, but because of the very grace of the Lord, they gained the wisdom as well. So when unbroken awareness of the Lord becomes a constant habit of the mind, dedication becomes effective and man's evolution starts. Evolution as a human being is no more to further to become another human being. It should become Godhood. As much as we have moved from one single cellular organisms to up to this point, multicellular complex organism, you can create even artificial intelligence. The next level should be the reaching of the Godhood only. There is nothing going back. That towards that end, towards that progress, towards that goal, do your work, no doubt, convert that into the love for God, devotion to God. Then it doesn't matter what you're doing. You will reach the same point. Of what others who may probably have been more eligible from the very birth itself, but if they don't enhance that, they would be lesser than the person who may be ineligible by birth, but because of his worship is moved ahead. Once it so happened, our Gurudev, when he was giving lectures in the early stages, 50 years in these 50s and 60s, he was vigorously traveling, young he was, and giving lectures everywhere on Gita, Upanishad, etc. You might have seen in the movie also on a quest, the Pandit class, they got very upset with him because by birth, Gurudev was a Kshatriya, and you know his nature is like that. Go ahead and finish and work and then get going. He will not keep quiet. So the people, the Pandit class, they were very upset because what is to be taught as Upanishad and Gita must be only in the small matas or the ashramas. And he is going on to the public, and the public platform, he started to talk. So they got very upset about this. So once it so happened, they all went to the Shankaracharya of Kanchi Mat. And then they reported to him saying that, you probably may not know or may know that there is, he was in Chennai at that time giving lectures. And so they went to report to him, Shankaracharya there, Chandrasekharendra Saraswati. So he was a very advanced, very pious soul. And then they went to submit to him and said, we have to tell you something very bad happening. So what is happening? He said. So there is one Swami from Uttarakashi. He is coming and talking about Upanishad Gita to public. They are not qualified to even listen. They are giving the lectures to the public. What do you think of it? He closed his eyes. He is more Brahmana than you. He is more a jnani than you people who are merely scholars. Go and listen to him and learn something from him. That was the blessing he gave. There is somebody who wrote on this because he was in that very set of people who went and asked him this question. That is to say, when a person, even though supposed to be not qualified, Gurudev always said that I give it to the public, to everybody, and you do not know who is qualified, who is not qualified. People who are able to understand and grow, I'm giving them an opportunity to do that. Why do you stop me? So no one is not qualified. No one is not unqualified. Every one of us can equally grow, provided we convert our action as a worship. And with that understanding, everything has come from him and everything is pervaded by that same Lord alone. Therefore, in the next verse, Shreyan Swadharmo Vigunaha Paradharmat Swanushtitat Swabhavaniyatam Karma Kurvannapnoti Kilbisham Shreyan Swadharmo Vigunaha Paradharmat Swanushtitat Swabhavaniyatam Karma Kurvannapnoti Kilbisham. In Ashtavakra Gita, a beautiful statement is made about what is pravritti and what is nivritti. It is said that nivrittirapi mudhasya pravrittihi upajayate, pravrittirapi dhirasya nivritti palam palabhagini. What it means is, if a person is lazy, his action, even if he does, if a person is lazy, even if he is not doing, is an action. Nivrittirapi mudasya pravrittirupajayate. What it means is, if a person is lazy and sleepy and not doing anything, do you think his mind is going to be quiet? It is only creating more and more desire. Is it not true? Physically you may not be doing anything, but mind being not pure, it will only create more inside activities. After that, I will have to go to my friend and have 2 bottles with that, and then pizza, and then sit there and watch that Super Bowl for 4 hours. Even though the mind is physically you're not doing anything, but mind is planning and creating more and more activities. So nivritti, as though physically not doing, but mind is engaged in All kind of pravritti. So, nivrittirapi moodhasya pravrittirupajayate. Whereas in the case of a Mahatma, pravrittirapi dhirasya, if a person who is mentally clean and pure, even is vigorously acting in this world, pravritti palabhagini, nivritti palabhagini, pravrittirapi dhirasya, nivritti palabhagini, meaning even as he is vigorously engaging in this world, mind being quiet and not having this kind of desires and vasanas, therefore, it only results in what is known as nivritti, meaning mind is quiet and it only results in the peace. Nivritti palam. It is restful, it is relaxed, it is peaceful, it is content, it is happy, it's quiet. Even though actions are taking place, mind is not disturbed. Whereas in the case of a lazy person, even though he is not doing, mentally is very disturbed. So that is beautifully put there. And so what converts that mind, even while engaging in this world, is the ability to surrender to the Lord with an attitude of Bhagavan, aap hi karte hain. Main kya karta hu? I'm not the one who's doing. Through me, you are only getting these things done. Through everyone, you are getting things done. I'm also seeing that. Through everyone, who you are the one who is making your own world function. Now, if you take your own physical body, for example, what is that you are doing? आपने ब्रेकफास्ट खाया भी नहीं, क्या आप क्यों कुछ करते हैं उसके लिए? After eating, सब होता है. The digestion is going on, blood circulation is going on, you are also getting old, everything is going on. Physically, you are not doing anything. So, Prakriti is under the command of the Lord, making sure that everyone is engaging in different kinds of action, even if they don't even know about it. Sun is rising, moon is rising, water, fire, air, space, planet is going on its own axis, everyone. Think about one planet out of the way. Finished. Whole place will be a chaos. One single planet not in its orbit. Think. What will happen? And we take it for granted, is it not? When everything is going on well, we don't even notice it. As much as a husband comes home and things are not there. What are you doing at home? You're not doing anything. And when I'm doing it, did you appreciate? When I'm not doing only, you will question. Similarly, when things go chaos only, we suddenly, why is that? What is that? Environmental chaos that is going on. Because everything is going well, we never appreciated it. So here, when you are engaging in your action, as I said, doesn't matter what you're doing. Don't imitate others. Shreyan swadharmaha. Swadharmaha shreyan. The best is your own action. Swadharma means swakarma udita dharma. Meaning what is born out of your own action, what is that which you are expected to do, which you are doing. Vigunaha api. Even though compared to somebody else's action, it cannot be having that much of quality. Meaning, it may not be sattvic, it doesn't matter. A Kshatriya may not be acting like a Brahmana. As much as a Brahmana should not act like a Kshatriya. Meaning, as per their quality, I'm again coming back, not per their birth. If I have the Rajasic qualities, I should not compare myself to a sattvic person and say, he is good, I'm bad. No, in my own action itself, I can move ahead. Shreyan Swadharmo, is it not that your own children? Don't compare me with somebody else. See the neighbor's boy, he is doing that. All the parents have only this discussion. My son went to the violin class. Your son is not going anywhere. He's not doing anything. Oh, no, I have to do it. Come home and you better learn something. Why? Because he is doing. Prarabdha. So we are competing with somebody else all the time, even though we are not ready for it. What I cannot do, my son has to do. Why? Because I can do it. Swadharme vigunaha api. Shreyan swadharmaha vigunaha. Paradharmat, parakarmanat. From there, somebody else's action, even if your action is in quality or in terms of the expression of that particular sattva, rajas and tamas is not the same. But suanushtitat paradharmat, if you are doing, instead of your work, do somebody else's, imitating somebody, even if you do it well, that is not shreyas. That is not great. That is not the correct one. In other words, what you are capable of, what your qualities are, what your vasanas are, what your tendencies are, what your preferences are, what you can come naturally to do, that you do instead of imitating somebody else's, in which your vasanas are not going to be expressed. Paradharmat swanushtita swabhava niyatam karma. Swabhavena niyatam karma. What is dictated by your own swabhava, kurvan, doing, na kilbisham apnodi, he will not incur any sin. Kilbisham papam. The example that is given is, a snake is no doubt venomous, but it is not killed by its own venom. Yeah? The snake has venom, right? It has its own visham. Does it get killed by that? Another snake won't come and bite, it will get killed. But in its own venom, it will not get killed. In the same way, what is natural to you when you do it, it is not going to affect you. Addressing Krishna, Arjun here says, you as a Kshatriya, defending your country, defending your dharma, and you happen to even eliminate these people whom you are thinking that you should not. Guru nahatva himahanubhavan shreyo bhoktam vaikshamabiha loke. In these things you are saying that I cannot kill, I cannot fight against my own gurus and everything. That is Kshatriya dharma. You're standing for the right cause. It doesn't matter who they are. That will not incur you any sin. Bhagavan himself says that. Na papam avapnoti, avapnosi, avapnode saha. The person does not obtain sin because he is performing his duty only. See, like a police officer around is carrying the gun, walking around. He's not threatening you. Can you say that he's threatening you by having his gun and moving about? Whereas if he is not a police officer and carrying a gun, then it's a problem. If he is coming not as in the police dress, and if he has a gun, you go, no, who are you? Unless he shows his ID, I am a police officer, then you can. So a police officer carrying his gun is not threatening people, because that is his duty. Whereas a man of the road, he carries the same gun, or he himself, without his duty, he is carrying the same gun and moving about threatening people. Then it is called a punishable act. In the same way, in your dharma, in your own nature, when you engage in your action, even when it is seen by others as wrong, you are not doing that. Just as a soldier in an army, even if he is acting and killing his enemies is considered as a great duty performed. Whereas the same person in his neighborhood with the same gun shoots for personal reason is a criminal. So, swadharmaha vigunaha api paradharmat swanushtitat swabhavaniyatam karma. What is dictated by your swabhava, that action, kurvan, doing, na apnoti, not obtains, kilbisham, papam, no sin will occur to that person. In other words, you don't need to do something else other than what you're doing. Do whatever you are doing with the devotion to the Lord, and which is according to your vasanas, only to exhaust your vasanas, you engage in that, not to increase it more, but to remove that from your system, remove it from your personality. By offering to the Lord alone, that will happen. If you are doing it, or expressing vasanas, or engaging in action and getting the result out of it and enjoying it more and more, then it will only accumulate more and more, and you will never come out of it. We'll see more of it in the next session. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah, Sarve Santu Niramayaha, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kaschid Dukkha Bhavet. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om.